We gon' run it, hit the field, blast off, watch them all fall. This is AFC North talk. Got me hype, it's about to be a touchdown. Got the Ravens, Steelers, Bengals, and the Browns. Are you listening? It's time to get it hype. Tune in when the season poppin'. Yeah, we going live. Ay, knock 'em out. Ay, first down, going hard. Yes, indeed. AFC North talk. Let's go. Ay, AFC North talk.
Welcome to another edition of AFC North Talk. And we are here pre-game about 2.5 hours to kickoff, around there. Shout out to everybody that's joining us. Shout out if you're watching the replay. Thank you for joining us. Thank you. We appreciate the support. Make sure you like and comment. We like to see those comments. Let's get into it. Today, we're going to start. There's a poll out there. Browns and Steelers. We already have 73 votes. Browns are leading that poll. But we cannot start this stream without talking about the Deshaun Watson story. Deshaun Watson, obviously, is it out for the year, right?
Yeah, he's out for the year. He's getting surgery this week.
Yeah, so he's out for the year. So I know, Browns fan, that sucks. I'm not going to lie. I mean, especially after that big win, it's just the last thing you want to hear. Especially he looked great in the last two quarters, 14 out of 14 in that second half. Due to hear that Deshaun Watson's out, and I don't know if y'all saw it. I know I sent it to you. RG3 is out there campaigning for the Browns to sign him.
We're good. We good.
But anyway, Q, what do you think about the breaking news that happened yesterday?
Oh, it sucks. It does, because you saw what the path was, and you know how you were on step for that path with Deshaun Watson. The plan the way he had since coming back, and honestly, it even goes back to the Tennessee game. You look at the last 3-4 games he played; he was pretty impressive in those 3 outings. So it wasn't just the 2 quarters. You know, he put together 3 really solid games of what you want to see from Deshaun. And it's unfortunate that he's out, but there's a reason why RG3 wants to join this team, because he sees what we see, which is, hey man, we could put somebody on this wagon and carry it pretty far away at the quarterback position if we need to, and that's going to be what's going to have to happen with the young fella DTR in there, and we'll see where they get to. But I trust Kevin Stefanski, I trust Andrew Berry, I trust their processes to be able to get a Jacoby Brissett level of play at the very least out of DTR. And if you could do that with this defense playing at a historic level, they're better. Right now, they're better in a lot of numbers than the 2015 Broncos that carried the carcass of Peyton Manning and Brock Osweiler to a championship game. And not to say that this Browns team is going to get to the Super Bowl or anything with DTR, but you know, the potential to achieve a lot this season is still on the table. And I trust that, you know, the Browns drafted DTR for a reason, kept DTR and made him the backup to start the year for a reason, and that they're going to be where they want to be at the end of this season, because it's all right in front of them. And I don't think anything really changes for this week, the next week, or the week after. These were all games that you felt like you could win with Deshaun Watson. These are all games that you feel like you can win without Deshaun Watson. Now it's going to be a lot harder. Deshaun makes some of this stuff easy, but hey, you know, it's Cleveland. It ain't never going to be easy.
So DTR's over PJ Walker is what you're saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he just started. They already announced it.
Okay. So saying that, what I think, the problem that I have with PJ Walker is very erratic, right? Like, he's always looking to push the ball, which is not bad. But in his quest to push the ball, sometimes, you know, he makes a big mistake. And I think right now what this team needs is what Guru says that he thinks his boy Kenny is, right? They need essentially somebody that does not make turnovers, right? The defense out there balling out, don't throw a pick after the defense put you in a good spot, right? Mm-hmm. So they need almost like a game manager situation. DTR, because he's young, he doesn't have he might have some of the tendency that PJ Walker has, but he's young. That you're molding him, right? He's learning, so there's growing pain. But you can say, hey, I don't want you to push the ball. I want you to take the flat, take the secure pass, and if not, just take the sack or whatever, throw it away. You don't need to do too much. All we want is run the ball effectively, and if the run's not there, and if it's not there, the play's not there, don't throw the pick, right? Essentially, that's what the Browns, in my opinion, need from a quarterback. They don't want a quarterback that is not great and is also throwing 3 picks, because that's the defense can only overcome so much. But fellas, before we start breaking the game, Ace and Guru, do you have anything to say about the Deshaun Watson story?
Yeah, tough break for the Browns, man. I just literally was on here saying that they were, one of the contenders in here. That is a massive blow for them. DTR, I'm not sure what to expect, man. I know that when we saw him the first time, obviously that was under different circumstances. He wasn't really expecting to play. We'll see what the kid has, but I think if you're a Browns fan right now, you're like, you're kind of not really getting the full Deshaun Watson experience that you kind of expected, right? Like right when you're like, okay, let's go. He's here. He gets taken away from you. I was honestly shocked when it came across my timeline. I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, everybody was.
So, it was just like, okay, this is wild. But it's unfortunate for them. But I think that the team is still good enough for them to try to make some kind of push. We'll see what happens. I know that there were reports out there of, not saying that Quincy wants Ryan Tannehill, but he's trying to get out of there. Possibly they try to add somebody there, or you go with DTR. We'll see what they end up doing.
Hey, there's a reason why there is this rush to be like, oh, I want to get cut and go to Cleveland, right? Because they see like, oh yeah, I could get carried there. Like Ryan Tannehill sees it. Like, RG3 sees it. Look, RG3 ain't rushing to go to the Jets. Right, you ain't hear him advocate himself to go to the Jets. They need a quarterback too, right? So that speaks to the spot that they're in, how highly people think of Kevin Stefanski, and that's why again, like it's a tough break. And I don't think that DTR is going to replicate Deshaun Watson at all, but I do trust the process that's been put in place, because this process has been paying out for the Browns at least this year.
Yeah, I don't really understand why you're not going with PJ Walker, especially with the urgency of what the roster looks like. We saw how DTR played versus the Ravens. I don't see it. I mean, you could try to say a fairy tale or a week of preparation. I mean, he's a rookie quarterback. I mean, and asked him to do the gauntlet that he has coming up. I mean, I just don't understand it. And then you can't go back to PJ Walker necessarily, because what's his confidence going to look like? It sucks for Deshaun, because I agree with Quincy. He was playing well. I mean, the Ravens game, I probably might one of his better games. I know it was a quarter, but you look at the throws, you look at extending the play, keeping his ass downfield. It looked like he was getting his feet wet. And I just don't know what the Browns look like with DTR versus, you scored 30 points. You were in games with PJ Walker. I know the turnover interception ratio, but it's not like DTR was much better. And then you also ask yourself, should you have got a veteran quarterback? Should you have brought a veteran quarterback in, earlier in the process? I understand the Brissett, but not even really Brissett, man. It's just you got 2 young guys in a locker room that's you're asking to lead, and then you have no veteran presence. I understand Andrew Berry said they are looking at a third arm, but just Cleveland is just not really making sense in terms of you going back to DTR. He hasn't played since the first game of the season. 3 interceptions. It just I don't understand.
He played week 3, right?
Week 4.
Week 4 came in for Deshaun, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, Deshaun got pulled, I think, hours before that game started.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a game time.
But yeah, we'll see what happens. I just don't know what's his timetable. Are you going to stick with DTR throughout the entire season? It makes sense. But if this is just a game preparation and then you go back to PJ, I just don't understand it.
Well, I think that's part of it, though, Guru, is that when you are waiting for Deshaun to come back, it does make a lot more sense to play PJ, because PJ plays a very similar style to Deshaun Watson, right? You don't really got to change up the offense. DTR does play a different style than Deshaun Watson, right? Which is why I think that Ravens game, it's tough to judge him on that. That's not how you would ask him to win football games for you. It's not a game plan that he even admitted he wasn't prepared for to play. And it just was a rough situation for a rookie to get his first start in. And, rookies are going to have bad games and that kind of stuff happens. But I think that was an extreme example of that. And if you're going to not have Deshaun for the rest of the year, you're thinking of changing that offense over to something that looked a little bit more similar to what it was with Jacoby Brissett last year. A lot of just small chunks downfield, time of possession, running the football, that kind of stuff, instead of the amount of empty that we were running this year. And if that's the case, DTR makes more sense to run that offense with. And since Deshaun is not coming back until 2024, you might as well switch it over, because it's not like he's going to come back for the playoffs or something like that. So you got to keep the offense, relatively similar, so he can just hop right in and start where he left. So yeah, given those circumstances, I understand why they're going with DTR. A veteran in the room would be nice. I would like to see them do that. If they could bring somebody in there who could just be a veteran voice in there, I think that's a valid suggestion. But we'll see what the process holds out for him. Again, like Andrew Berry, he's earned my trust with this, because honestly, we weren't talking about Josh Dobbs like this until he came through Cleveland's organization and went through with Kevin. We weren't talking about Jacoby Brissett like this until he had that year with Cleveland. So who's to say we're not going to be doing the same thing with DTR this year, given that they've done it with a lot of quarterbacks. I mean, Baker Mayfield's still on the league off the strength of that 2020 season alone. Well, not still in the league, but still getting starting opportunities off the strength of that 2020 season alone. So Kevin has proven himself to be somebody you can trust in these moments. And if this is what they feel like is the best decision for the team, I think they've earned the benefit of the doubt, in my opinion. And I'm not saying everybody has to think this, but in my opinion, I think they've earned the benefit of the doubt, to where you got to at least see how this is going to work out.
Okay. Only thing I'll say is for DTF, damn, you cannot ask for him to have two. I mean, go Ravens defense and then Steelers defense like that. Those are very two. Like after that, it doesn't get too much harder than that.
Hey man, that game gonna look real slow after this, right?
Okay, we have a couple super chats before we jump into it. Big shout out to you, Mark. Legit.
Oh, big bomb.
Yes. Love tuning into you guys. Ravens cover. And then maybe winky face.
Hey,
I see what you
I
did.
have something to introduce to this conversation before we even get started. I do believe Engraven is in the building.
He is.
And
don't say it. Don't say it.
You remember what happened last time Engraven was in the building?
Engraven
I got
3 weeks ago.
I got gassed up. I was like, my homeboy's in the building. Oh yeah, the Ravens definitely beating the Dolphins. The Dolphins is trash. 40-point victory. I ain't gonna do that to you this time, dog. But I'm just gonna say Engraven in the building.
Shout out to my guy. He texted me about 3 weeks ago, saying like, "Hey, I'm thinking about going to the Bengals game. Are you going?" I said like, "I don't think so." And then I remember last time he was, I remember what you always bring up, Q. And then I'm here having nightmares, so I don't want to think about it.
Hey, Sonny, remember when you went in 2019?
I did in the playoff. Yeah, I know. I remember.
No, you went to the Browns Ravens game that year.
Oh yeah, I did. Yes.
Yeah, I remember. I saw your Snapchat story. You was beating on the drum and everything. He had a good day to the end.
Okay, Ray Rack here says people were questioning Deshaun Watson's toughness, but had played 2.5 quarters with a high ankle sprain and a broken shoulder, which he was told if he played and took a bad hit in the shoulder will fall apart, which is insane.
Yeah, that fourth quarter is incredible. Given the context.
Yeah, right?
And then like the tackle he took at the end of that game to get him in field goal range, like,
yep,
man, that could have went so much worse.
Yep, I agree. Jordan Watt here says the worst possibly came through. Quincy won, and my Bengals lost on Sunday. I apologize for the BBB penalty. I learned my lesson. We gonna win tonight. Shout out to you, Jordan.
You're not gonna get that shit past me, Jordan. I don't know why you thought that was gonna get past me. I call those every time. Get to the line. No. Thought he was gonna sneak a booty beat down past me.
Okay, and then Jay Lovas here. So he has 2 super chats, but he didn't put the question, but then he put it. So he said, first time writer, long time listener, big fan. Been listening to Q for years of the podcast. Sad to see Tony go. I know he would have been wild about the Steelers. Yes, he would have. but Browns winning the division.
Mm.
And he has another one up here. He says Bengals winning tonight and Browns winning Sunday, and we will be the first in the North. Kings of the North.
Yeah, that would make this week, if the Bengals win, that makes the game on Sunday for first place, right?
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, because the Ravens will be 7-4.
Who would have thought that it would be possible that Kenny Pickett and DTR would be battling it out for first place of this division when Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow are healthy?
Yep. So if the Bengals win today, then then Sunday will be the battle for first in the North. Okay, with that being said, there's a game on Sunday. We're gonna talk about the Bengals game and Ravens game soon, but the game on Sunday, it changes, right? Because we had DTR, we had Deshaun Watson. It changes a little bit here. The game is in Cleveland. The first game was in Pittsburgh. Obviously, a lot of turnover happened in that game for the Browns, also for the Steelers, if I'm not mistaken. This is two good defenses. We're going back to this. This is gonna be a very heavy defensive dose. If you don't like defenses, this is not your game. At least that's what I'm expecting. I want to hear from both of you. Guru, I'm gonna start with you. What do you think the Steelers have to do to win this game?
They have to handle their business. I mean, you look at the matchup versus DTR. First of all, you're gonna have to stop the run. But the way Kenny Pickett is playing football, and the way Jim Schwartz calls defense, he's going to have to make a throw or two. I do understand that, the DTR has tape of 2 games this season. We know Mike Tomlin's record against rookie quarterbacks. He's only lost 5 games, and unless CJ Stroud's going to turn into a DTR, who has been behind the scenes. He got first team reps this week. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers, have to be feeling more comfortable. You did lose Quan Alexander last week, which is a huge injury, but you got to be grateful for Landon Roberts. And then you look at Mark Robinson, guys who have he played versus Cleveland last year. And then you ask yourself, with Pat Freiermuth coming back, what that does for the offense. Only injuries on the injury front is Minka, Keanu Neal, supposed to be game time decisions. But
the Steelers game plan. You back for this week? Sorry, is Freiermuth?
Yeah, he's back.
Okay.
He has to be activated, but he's practiced full the last 2 days. But the thing about the Browns game is you want to put 7 or 8 in the box. You want to make sure Jerome Ford, Kareem Hunt, Pierre Strong aren't able to run, and then you just ask DTR to throw the ball down the field. Njoku, somebody who I'm monitoring. I think Amari Cooper. He'll have JPJ with the safety over top, and then it's Elijah Moore. It's James Prochet. The Steelers would be in a situation if they lose this game. I think they would have other issues to worry about. Offensively, you're able to run the football. You're able to run the football against teams that know you're running with 8 or 9 in the box. Green Bay at 8 or 9 in the box still was able to do it. So I'm thinking if they're able to run the football over 100 yards and Kenny Pickett is able to protect the football, I just don't see DTR beating a Mike Tomlin's defense. Keanu Benton, he had 7 tackles last week, first start. Montravius Adams is out again. So look out for him for his role to expand. And then you look at the 2 tackles. You look at James Hudson. You look at Christensen. DeJuan Jones supposed to be practice today. He might be back. But T.J. Watt, Alex Highsmith, they lead the NFL in pressures from a duo. Those guys get paid a lot of money, and they should make their money's worth Sunday. I respect the Browns. I think this injury has halted them, but to ask DTR to beat the Pittsburgh Steelers it's unconventional. If it was more of a PJ Walker, I think I would feel a little bit more worried. It's just at the end of the day, how experienced is DTR going to be? And unless Jerome Ford turns into Nick Chubb, has over, I think, 120 yards, and Njoku just feasts on the middle of the field, I think the Steelers should have the advantage in pretty much every aspect.
So you're saying it's expected for the Steelers to win this game?
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Okay. Q, what do you think is going to happen?
Yeah, I honestly think the exact opposite of that. I don't think Pittsburgh's defense is the unit to be worried about in this one. Pittsburgh has a good defense, but if you're worried about a defense, Pittsburgh has to be worried about this Cleveland Browns defense. They play elite football at home when they have that crowd with them and they're able to start out fast. The Steelers are not a team that starts out super fast on the road, even though they've gotten their first drive touchdowns the last couple of weeks. So yeah, I show credit where credit's due, but I think this Browns defense matches up well against the Steelers offense. Will Kenny Pickett turn the ball over? I don't know, but if he has like 8 3-and-outs, does it matter? So I think it's going to be a struggle for both teams to score the ball, to be honest. And I think the struggle on the Browns side is less severe than the Pittsburgh side. Pittsburgh's offense has been worse than the Cleveland Browns, even with PJ Walker, even with all of the quarterback woes that the Browns have had. So, and this Browns defense has been better than Pittsburgh's defense all year. So I think that's going to be the struggle for Pittsburgh. Can they put up points on this Browns defense that just got off of a really good performance on the road? They play even better at home. And this Browns offense, it's going to be a lot of field position. It's going to be coming down to a lot of field goals. It's going to come down to running the ball, getting in field position, but they do that well. They're able to get to field goal range and all of that well, even with PJ. DTR, I understand he's a rookie, but they would have put him out there. They didn't think that he was better than PJ Walker at this point. So I feel confident that they feel like they're going to get more out of him than they did out of PJ and less turnovers. And if the Browns play a clean football game, if they don't turn the ball over offensively and don't give Pittsburgh extra shots all the time, then I think that they should win this game because I think the Browns are, quite frankly, the better team at every level than the Pittsburgh Steelers. They just got to go out there and prove it.
So this is tie ball game, Ace. It's me and you. So I'll defer to you first, and then I'll give you my take. What do you think? Who do you think wins?
I think that this is going to be a close game. I mean, I get it. No Deshaun Watson in this, but as we've seen this season, that's not something that Cleveland isn't used to doing, right? This is a team that beat the San Francisco 49ers without Deshaun Watson. This is a defense that, by DVOA metrics, is number one in the league at home. They're the number one pass defense at home. They're the number one total defense against the offense in Pittsburgh that's struggling. So I think this is a defensive game. I think you're looking at this completely different if you're saying that there's going to be a lot of point score. I don't think it's going to be that at all. I think this is going to be which team can score. And I think for both of these teams, they're probably going to lean on the run game. And if you do that, Cleveland's been really good against the run. We saw what they did to Baltimore. We saw what they've done to other teams at home. They're 13th in run defense in the league at home. Pittsburgh hasn't been good against the run on the road. They're 31st right now. The rushing offense, though, for both of them is 15th and 16th, respectfully. So I think that Pittsburgh's probably going to look to establish the run. How effective is it going to be, though? Because if you're not able to get that going, this is an offense that has somewhat struggled the last couple of weeks, and this is a good defense. I'm going to take Pittsburgh because one thing that they are winning on paper is with the turnover differential. I don't know what I've seen thus far from DTR, so that's the only reason, I'm going their way. But it would not surprise me if Cleveland wins this game at all. They're at home. They're still a good team despite that. So I wouldn't be surprised if Cleveland wins it. Right now, though, we got to see which Cleveland team comes out. Are they going to play inspired because Deshaun Watson isn't there and they know that they've done this before? The only thing that I haven't seen before, though, is DTR. So I would actually feel more comfortable with them going with PJ Walker in this situation. I might actually take the Browns if PJ Walker was out there in this situation. And that sounds crazy, but as I mentioned, PJ Walker had them as the number one scoring offense on the road when he was playing. Go ahead, Q.
Well, I would ask you, don't you think that the fact that you think, hey, if they started PJ Walker, I would feel like they could win this game, tells you everything about what's around them on that team, that you should probably trust them?
You know what?
Not like PJ Walker is like a proven game changer.
I'm gonna take the Browns, bro. I do not believe that the Steelers are gonna be
another flip.
I do not believe that the Steelers are gonna
Whoa,
They've
whoa, whoa, whoa. Hold
struggled.
on. I'm hearing a lot of
There you go.
misinformation. What are you talking about the offense struggling? They ran for 200 yards last week. They ran for 165 the other one. They scored on their first 2 drives last week. What is
Right
Cleveland
now,
doing?
though.
Cleveland was
Right now,
down
though,
14 points in the Ravens game.
They're averaging like 17 points per game, man. And
All
this
right, cool.
is
This is what you're asking for. 21-3, Pittsburgh. That's what you're asking for.
hold on. Is that on whack?
That's what you want. That's what you're asking for. 21-3.
Put it up. He's not
You did
worried
it.
about it. Put it up.
21-3. That's his prediction.
That's
Oh,
what you're doing.
oh wow.
Ravens were up 27-3. Justice Hill fumbled against DTR.
I will
What are
say
you
this
doing?
though, Guru. If you guys, let me say, if y'all drop,
Ooh, don't lose.
if y'all drop 20 plus on the Browns and win this game, I will be a believer in the Steelers offense. I fully believe into it.
This is my take.
Expecting Pittsburgh to do stuff that San Francisco couldn't do against this defense in Cleveland.
This is my expectation for this game, by the way. You know, for those of you that they're nerds like me and like the program, this is an if statement game. If Cleveland does not turn the ball over, they win. Else, they're gonna lose. I think it's crazy, but it's that simple. I actually gonna agree something here with you. I actually like DTR better than PJ Walker for what I said earlier. PJ Walker, he's gonna throw a pick or 2 or 3. I don't know. He would throw multiple.
It's just about when it happens. You know what
exactly,
I mean?
Exactly.
Out of the first quarter, PJ. Like
it is ingrained. It's how he plays, right? I like PJ Walker, by the way, because he makes the game exciting. But DT, and that's not what you want as a Browns fan, to be honest. And offense right now for this week, you want a boring game. You just want efficiency. Can I get 4 or 5 field goals? Because if you get 5 field goals, 15 points, that might be enough for this game, right? I agree with you, and it could be because I have recency bias, right? Because we just lost to them. But that defense, in my opinion, is better in every aspect minus the turnover margin. We talk about this all year, how the Pittsburgh Steelers find a way to create turnovers and put the offense in a good spot. That's why for me it's an if statement. If they turn the ball over, I think Pittsburgh wins. If they don't, I think Cleveland wins. If this game is a clean game, and I think Stefanski, I like Stefanski as a coach as well. I think Stefanski's probably ingraining in DTR. Look, I don't need you to do too much. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about 3 and outs. Just don't do the turnovers. Let's run the ball efficiently. Then don't worry about the turnover, right? And then he will put him in good spot. He will scheme easy completions. This is not gonna be DTR. They will have 4 different route
combos.
Yeah, for him to go through all different scenarios. No, that's not what they're gonna ask for him, right? Unless the game is a blowout or whatever, they're trying to come from behind, right? But I'm not expecting that. Yes, go ahead.
Another thing to note in this game is that Pittsburgh is out 2 linebackers. I believe
I said it. Quan Alexander, Cole Holcomb.
Yep.
Cole Holcomb. Yeah, I think the Browns already are gonna try to use David Njoku a lot in this game.
Yeah. Now I will say this.
Let Guru go.
I don't think has Sonny made his pick yet.
I haven't.
Go ahead, Sonny. Yeah, go ahead, Sonny.
Now the last thing I will say is Firemouth coming back. It is big for that offense. Firemouth in that middle of the field.
I didn't know that. I didn't know he was coming
helps
back.
a lot. Helps.
No, don't change your pick, good brother. Don't change your pick. Stay on that side.
Helps the pick a lot. Sorry, not the pick. It helps the team. It helps Kenny a lot, right? Because
hey man,
I feel like he's been going. He's
trying
to abandon that middle of the field, and I think that Firemouth there for that easy 5 to 7 yard completion, right? I love Muth. I think it will be great. Saying all that, I'm going with the Browns by 3. I think it's going to be a close game.
Whoa.
I think the Browns edge it out. But like I said, if the Steelers,
I'm going with the Steelers now, man. It's gotta be a tie. This is crazy. This is crazy.
Hey, yo, shout out Nova Stone to the having an ace body this week, dog.
We got a gridlock this, man. 3-1 is kind of nasty. I ain't gonna lie.
Well, I was gonna pick the Browns because of that. Like I said,
one is a booty beat down prediction.
The one is a booty beat down. That's
one
right.
is a booty beat down. 3-1 is crazy though. Like we know as AFC North guys, man, it's gonna be. I don't know.
Are you locking in Pittsburgh?
Yeah, that's right. You've been flip-flopping. What are you gonna do?
I'm gonna go with the Browns, man. But this is nasty, Sonny. This is nasty, Sonny. You know this is nasty work.
I haven't flip-flop. I basically
you let me go first, and you set me up. You set me up.
Hey, I got so So here's what I got for you.
Go ahead.
You disputed you all disputed and didn't listen to the record, the rookie record of Mike Tomlin. Let me give you another statistic for you. The Steelers are 9-0 in one-score football games. You're acting like DTR is a vet and going to be able to go into the fourth quarter and win a football game. And the last time he played an AFC North title game, he had a 33.6 quarterback rating. And the Ravens had no pass rush that week. They had no pass rush, and you still threw in the double coverage.
We don't have pass rush, but we
Sonny,
lead the league
Sonny,
in sacks.
Sonny,
I agree.
Sonny, you acted like you acted like you forgot week 2. So let me remind you, DTR he had 2 conversions
I
on
forgot
third
last
down.
week either.
So what are you acting like our defense isn't elite for? This
Yeah, I'm
defense
not
is
saying
every week.
Guru,
Listen,
listen to
brother,
what I said. If you provoke turnovers, you win. That's essentially what I said.
We don't need a
Literally is what I
turnover.
said.
We don't need a turnover.
Well, I think a clean
No,
game goes Browns. That's what I'm saying.
Here's
That's
the
what
thing.
I think.
No, a clean game. This is where I disagree with you because you're acting like DTR.
So you think
is
that
continue.
DTR going to come out there and play the same exact game he played against the Baltimore Ravens?
I know enough for a
He
fact
threw
it
3
is.
picks. I think he threw 3 picks.
Yes, he threw 3 picks. And this is AFC North football. This is the Steelers versus Browns. We've been through this before. We played the Deshaun Kaisers. We played the Johnny Manziels. Like, the fact of the matter is you guys have really showed me you didn't value Deshaun Watson at all. Because if your pick wouldn't have changed if Deshaun Watson was healthy, you probably would have had us as a blown out. And enough's enough. So this week, when we shut Cleveland out, when we make them look like a one-dimensional football team, I'm going to pack you guys up next week because I find it very disingenuous that this defense you're not respecting. This defense for 2 straight weeks went down to the wire and made a play. The Browns did not.
I respect the defense.
Browns did
brother.
not.
Wait, what?
I don't.
Wait,
talk
go back to what he said. Go back to what he said. The Browns have not.
Lost to Seattle. You lost to Seattle. You lost to
Okay.
Smith, didn't you?
Well, what about every other game this year?
I'm not worried about those. I said the last 2.
You're not worried about last week? Hey, Sonny, did the defense step up in the fourth quarter? Or did the only reason that the Ravens scored is because James Prochet dropped a punt?
I don't want to.
Deshaun Watson Lamar Jackson threw a duck and double coverage. I don't think Kenny's doing that.
Yeah.
Why did he throw a duck? Because the defense popped up and tipped the ball at the line of scrimmage and then ducked it up into the air. The defense made a play.
I just don't know what week do we get to. What do you have to see? You have to see the Steelers 13-3 to pick them against a rookie quarterback.
You have to get to where the Browns are number 1 above every defense that's played in the last 10 years for you to get it through that the Browns are the best defense in the NFL, though. Like, you're sitting here begging us to take the Steelers to defense and make them elite, but then you're ignoring that the Browns are better in every defensive category than the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Minus turnovers.
They're not.
Okay, turnovers, but they've been coming the last 3 weeks. So what's really what's really the difference there? Miles is better than TJ. Like, we were better everywhere on the defensive side than you. We're better at corner. We're better at linebacker. We're a better defense than you, and we're playing at home. I don't understand how you're like, wow, we must count the Steelers defense into this while discounting the fact that the Browns got a better defense than the Steelers. So even if the Steelers are elite, Guru, you still got to deal with a defense that's better than elite.
How many points did they score on that elite defense week 2?
What? They scored 14 points. All those other points were off turnovers. They had -7 yards in the fourth quarter at home. What are you talking about?
What does the box score say?
Well, but
defense scored a lot.
Yeah,
what was the final score? What was the final score?
Is that your argument? It don't matter because there were points on the board that the offense didn't put up those points? Is that the argument? That's not a good argument, Guru.
I don't want to hear no excuses about DTR. You grade him just like your MVP quarterback. I don't want to hear no rookie excuses. I'm gonna make it turn into
I wouldn't even be entertaining this being close, but since he's not in, hey, it might be close.
No, yeah,
I'm gonna turn him into PJ Walker. Don't worry about it.
I think, like I said, I think the turnover margin will be crucial in this game. Like no joke.
My thing is more so for the Browns defense going against Kenny Pickett, man. Kenny has not been able to put too many points up. That's where I'm coming from. I'm not saying that.
So what's Kenny's record? What's Kenny's record against the Browns?
I mean, he's undefeated against the Browns.
You don't find any value in that, do you?
But for me, a lot of that is I'm still going into last season. And I'm not saying last season doesn't matter, but this is a completely different Browns team in terms of the defense. Now, you guys did get the win. I think if you play like you did week 2, sure, I think you guys do get the win. That Browns defense is legit, bro. That's all
the thing that I will add to this is here, Guru. every game that you have won this year, you can correct me if I'm wrong, right? I could be wrong. It is predicated for you guys to win the turnover margin. Even last week against Green Bay, you won by 4, but the turnover margin swing, I think, +2 for you guys,
interception
right?
ended the game.
Right.
Interception ended the game.
So all I'm saying is, if that happens, y'all win, right? There's no dispute. But if it doesn't, I haven't, and I think, and this is what I think the Browns are gonna do. I think they're gonna go as vanilla as possible. I don't even think they're gonna score a touchdown. I just think they're gonna be less risky, and I think
they're gonna try to run the ball. They're probably gonna try to run the ball, bro.
Yeah,
they're probably gonna try to run the ball.
I think it's gonna be a close game, and I don't think I think they're gonna put DTR in a place. I think Stefanski knows, like, if we come in and we're gonna fumble an interception, we're gonna lose the game.
I'm not saying that the Steelers are bad or that their defense is bad. It's just like, you
just said this defense isn't a defense for you to worry about. That's what
it is a defense. It is a defense you worry.
Yeah, you worry about the defense. I think you should be more concerned about Kenny Pickett playing this defense than the Browns should be with DTR playing now.
He's beat this defense twice. Everybody's out there that
he beat him. He kind of beat him one time, and that was because of all the turnovers the Browns had. Let's be honest. If Deshaun Watson doesn't fumble that ball, who wins that game? Like, it's not. What did Kenny Pickett do in the fourth quarter of that football game?
Save the excuses.
Hey, Guru, just tell me how many total yards did the Steelers offense have in the fourth quarter of that game when they last played?
Yeah, which one? Okay, so let's move the goalpost.
No, I'm not moving it. What did they do in the fourth quarter? When the game was tied, what did they do in the fourth quarter?
He didn't need to do anything. He made a 71-yard touchdown throw.
You're not telling me what they did in the fourth quarter. What did they do in the fourth quarter?
He didn't have to do anything. He do a 71-yard touchdown.
Exactly. He didn't have to do anything because the Browns turned the ball over to Sonny's point. And if the Browns don't turn the ball over, they probably win that game pretty easily. So again, that's what it is. They got to clean up the mistakes. They got to make sure they play a clean football game. But if the Browns play a clean football game, they should win because I do believe on most levels, if not all, they are a better football team.
I do think that this is a close game, though. I don't think it's like, to me, I don't think it's like convincing that you just know that the Browns are going to win this game.
It's a 3-point either way.
If there is a situation where they turn the ball over,
it'll be close.
You know how many times I heard the Browns are a better team and lost by 40? Like,
how many?
Hearing that, bro.
How many times?
That's not the better team. That's not the better team.
How many times?
Y'all say this.
We haven't been good for like 17 of those 20 years. Like, what do you mean?
What did Juju tell you? Same old Browns, right?
And what happened?
Didn't Juju tell you that?
Happened?
Well, I'm telling you, I agree with Juju.
And what happened after Juju said that? Would you care to recollect that recollection, Guru?
Remember?
Would you care to recollect?
I'm gonna go back to last year.
So let's go into some super chats before we go to the next game. Joa here says, Omar, put your money where your mouth is. If Steelers lose, you have
that's a super chat?
Round. Yeah, he just put the super chat and then
didn't pop.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wear all Browns gear next cast. If Steelers win, I'll personally donate 25 to the AFC North and to the podcast. Deal? I don't know if you want to take that, Guru.
All Browns gear is crazy. $25 ain't worth that, fam. I'm sorry, $25 ain't worth that.
And Jay, I can't find no Browns gear. It's not. They don't go on sale until Black Friday.
What
all you gotta do is
I lost a bet like 3 years ago where I had to wear a Steelers shirt.
Yeah, I remember
what
that.
I do.
So Habitual here says, Watson not built for the North. Q already told y'all all why. The problem, Habitual, I will tell you this.
Hey, it's crazy.
That argument is the same argument you can say about Lamar Jackson, right? I don't like to make that argument. If anything, I will say this. After learning what happened, you have to be more impressed with the young man that he finished the game. He beat us. You have to say that.
Habitual, I do want to ask you this question. If the physicality is too much and the Browns out-physicaled you in the fourth quarter of that football game, what does that say about the man in your profile picture, Mr. Roquan Smith, who is at the bottom of that pile getting stomped on?
Okay. Victor,
I guess this league is too physical for Roquan because he don't show up in the fourth quarter and he said, I hope we see Roquan today. You think we go? Hey, Sonny, what's the Roquan forecast for today? Is it gonna be cloudy or is it gonna be sunny?
You'll show up.
This is what you guys get when the North all faces off in 1 week.
I know. I love these
subscribe button, hit that like button, turn it up.
Okay, so Victor here says I can go against Tomlin. 96. By the way, I can see this game. Like exactly 96 Steelers. I can see that. I can see that for sure. I can see it. Listen, by the way, I don't think neither me or Ace is just picking here no below. I think it goes 3 points.
See, Sonny, you messed it up. If it was 2-2, it would have been good. We would have been good.
I can't. This is why I put an if statement. Essentially, mine was an if statement. If this, if not that, right? Like. Yep. Okay. Ray Rack here says, not saying they could do it this game, but the Browns have 4 turnovers and 2 of them were returned for touchdowns. I don't think the Browns offense is going to give up a pick 6 and a fumble return for a touchdown. Look, I'm not saying, I think they're basically going to go very vanilla to avoid that.
Mm-hmm.
Can it happen? Yes, because the Steelers have found ways this year to do it. So I cannot put it that it won't, because the Steelers have found ways to do that all year. I just don't think Stefanski will try to avoid that. I'll put it like this. I think if Deshaun Watson was playing, it will be more probable because you will see them trying to do more. Than with DTR, I think they're going to do less. Ray Rack here says, so Guru said he would be more worried if it was PJ Walker, but now he said he will take DTR. Look like PJ Walker. Which one is it, Guru?
They're both rookie quarterbacks. They're both not good enough to be the Steelers, and I'm going to make them both look interchangeable. Does that make sense to you, Ray Rex?
PJ not a rookie. He played last year, but
PJ like 28. He is far from a rookie.
But. Yeah. He just hasn't had a lot of starting experience in the NFL. Like
started, I think, 12 games.
Yeah. Commonly uncommon, Guru. Y'all won the first game off the back of the defense. Not sure how it's hard for you to see if neither of those plays happen. The Browns win by 10.
Yeah, if Deshaun Watson, an all-pro quarterback, stared down T.J. Watt and Alex Husman, what do you think DTR is going to do?
That is a question. I agree. That we'll see. Those two definitely can impact this game, and it's up to them, I think, because you know what, Guru. If anything, what we're saying here is not that we don't believe in your defense. And I don't know how you feel about that. So you can feel any type of way. Is we don't believe in Kenny, right? We're essentially saying Kenny and DTR are not that different. Essentially, I think it's.
I don't know if I'm going that far. I don't know if I'm going that far.
I mean, essentially, is what we're saying.
No.
I think DTR has more potential, but I still got to see it right now. One question I got is, Minka's not playing this game, is he? Is Minka playing or no?
Game time decision.
That's a game changer.
Game time decision.
If Minka plays, he good for a pick 6. That's all I'm gonna say. He good for one of those. I know. But trust me, I know. I seen it live and in person.
Yes.
But Sonny, you're talking about you don't know if Kenny's better than DTR. You saw Kenny Pickett beat you how many times?
That's kind of wild.
A couple times.
Shame on you. Shame on you.
So what I would say is this. I think what the offense, how the Pittsburgh Steelers play Kenny in offense, right? Which is very conservative, right? I mean, all Steelers fans will tell you this, right? I don't think you would disagree that the Canada puts Kenny Pickett in a very conservative offense, right? Would you disagree? Right? And what I'm saying is I think they're gonna do the same thing with DTR. And at that point, they're both gonna. I think that's more what I want to say. At that point, they're both gonna look very similar. It's what I meant. Okay. Q, how many people watched that game after Juju said the Browns?
40.5 million, according to Nielsen Records.
This is for you. Q. You can read that one.
Oh, Dog Check Wolf. Appreciate you, Jay Jones.
Okay, and then we have from Joe. Let me find this. Joe, we need to get you how to do this right. Let me find your chat somewhere here. Okay, so Joe Lavas.
Jay Lavas,
sorry. Where are you? Shout out to you, by the way. Thank you for the. Do y'all see it?
Nah, I don't see it.
I don't see anything. Jay,
I'm back. The Steelers and the Browns, 9 interceptions so far for the Browns, 10 for the Steelers. Total turnovers, 18? The Browns have crept up there to 15 in the last few weeks. So the Browns starting to get them turnovers cooking the last few weeks. I believe they've had multiple ones in every game for the last 3 weeks.
Jay, yeah, it would. It's just you need to figure it out. But if you put the comment, we'll make sure it gets highlighted. Before we move to the next game, I want to give big shout out to Adam Holland, Doug DeSulo, Luis Cousin, Leo Sel, Ray Rack, Wesley World, Christian Rock. Shout out to y'all. Thank you. Thank you for supporting us. Thank you for being with us. Thank you, for believing in what we do here. Shout out to the 400 people watching. Make sure you like and subscribe if you haven't, and put a comment when we finish. Put your score prediction out there. Okay, as I'm gonna start doing the next poll, Ace, I'm gonna defer to you so I can do some of the stuff that we need to do here. Game starting in about less than 2 hours. Big game. I know people are freaking out because the cast on Joe Burrow wrist.
Yep.
The cast looks to be a soft cast for what I see in the picture. Those casts are usually when you're like sore. That's what I used those casts before. What is your expectation of this game? I know a lot of people have a lot of people out. I'm gonna try to get them to Twitter and see if they get should be already the official people that are in and out while you give your game prediction and I put the new poll out there.
I mean, I expect this to be one of the best Thursday night football games that we've seen in a long time.
Sorry to interrupt you. Quick question. It's a quick thing. 65% of y'all picked the Browns. 65% of y'all picked the Browns. Okay,
that's nasty work, man.
Yeah,
They'll never get the Steelers don't get over 30% any week.
I know.
That's crazy. Yeah, I mean, I think this is going to be a game that lives up to the hype. Both teams right now are coming in desperate. Both teams right now are trying to make a statement in the North. And I think that this is a big stage to make that statement. For me, I think if I'm the Cincinnati Bengals, I'm coming into this one knowing that given the way that the AFC is playing out right now, there's more at stake for me, right? Like right now, you have to get a victory in your division. You got to get an AFC victory. You got to claw back into this race right now from the hole that you put yourself into, dropping a game at home against the Houston Texans and then starting off 1-3. This is a team that you're very familiar with. One thing that you're going to have to do is try to slow down that run. Now, obviously, they haven't been able to do that. I'm hoping that they can slow it down. I don't know if it's a, struggling against zone thing, struggling against gap runs thing, but they cannot miss tackles. They cannot show up the way that they did. But let's say that they do, and I'm just going to sit here and expect that they do. The other side of the ball has to show up. Joe Burrow has got to be that guy. This is a guy that's been able to have some success against the Ravens. You've got Jamar Chase. You don't have T. But you do have some other guys in Tyler Boyd and some of these tight ends that you've been able to get going. I think another big key is Joe Mixon in this game, right? Not only in the ground game, but also in the passing game. They're likely going to probably try to take Jamar Chase out of this game. By no means can you let that happen. Even if they try to double him, even if they try to do whatever that they're going to do, you still need to get Jamar Chase a minimum of 10 targets, I think, in this game, because he is your best player on offense. When he gets going, this offense gets going. When you talk about why they won 4 out of their last 5 before they took the loss, the reason was Jamar Chase, and that's what you have to lean on heavily in this game. The other thing is you have to take advantage of turnovers. We talked about it in the last game. The Cincinnati Bengals on the road are the number 1 team in the NFL in turnover differential. That means they need to not turn the ball over and they need to force those turnovers. That's just what the defense has been this season. They will give you yards. They will try to slow you down in the red zone, but they will get those turnovers. Even against Houston, they still were able to force those turnovers. They're going to have to do that tonight, especially with Lamar Jackson. He didn't fumble in the last game, but he's leading the league right now with 10 fumbles. You got to try to get close to him and cause one of those to happen. You got to try to force an interception if you can, because those are going to be paramount, especially with you playing on the road in M&T Stadium. This is a Ravens team that's hungry. They didn't forget about what happened in the playoffs. They didn't forget about any of the stuff that's happened. They feel like this is their year. This is up for the Cincinnati Bengals to come in there and let them know what time it is. I'm going to take the Bengals in this one. I feel like our backs are up against the wall. Anytime our backs are up against the wall, I think we come out swinging. So I'm taking the Cincinnati Bengals.
By the way, let me read you the inactive. For the Bengals, T. Higgins, Devin Harper, Trey Hill, Jackson Karma, Andre Yosivas. Yosivas, and Sam Hubbard. For the Ravens, Trent Simpson.
Whoa. So Trey Henderson.
Charlie Jones is active.
Yeah.
But
Is-
Sam's out.
Sam's Hubbard.
yeah,
is
Trey
out.
Hendrickson's playing. Yeah,
Wow.
Trey Hendrickson's playing.
So for the Ravens, Trent Simpson, Marlon Humphrey, Salas, Ronnie Stanley, Broughton Washington, which low key is a big one because he's the starter at the
Project is
end,
big. Yep.
and Josh Johnson, but he's the
So
QB.
Morgan Moses is playing. Morgan Moses is in there.
Morgan is playing, so we're not.
I need some of that filet action. I need some of that filet.
But that's the problem. If somebody get hurt, you know who's coming.
Falafel.
Falele. But knowing it was a game time decision and he's gonna play. Okay. That being said, by the way, I did find so Jay here says I wanted to see Guru in Browns. What will it take to make it happen? Put your money where your mouth is. So
All right, listen.
Go ahead.
If the Browns beat the Steelers, whatever our next show is, I'll go get a Browns. The only thing I'll get is Browns related is a hat. I wear a Browns hat, Jay.
Okay.
Now,
there you go, Jay.
Jay, if we win, you got to send a picture and tweet us on Facebook or Twitter of you and the Steelers, something Steelers related, man. It's a deal.
There you go. There you go, Jay. Look at that. I figured it out, but my last two comments. There you go. There it is. There you see what my guy Omar said. Okay. So for me, this game, tough game. Very, very, very tough game. I think people might talk about, Humphrey, which is a big loss, obviously, with the firepower of the Bengals. We're going to talk about Stanley, which also problematic with Henderson and that left side of the ball. Broughton Washington for me is low key very, very important. Now the thing is, it all depends how the Bengals want to address this, because the Bengals sometimes like to say, you know what, we're not gonna run, F it, we're not gonna run, and if that is the case, then the Washington not playing ain't that bad. We won't feel it as much. If they come and start running the ball more, well, now you're gonna thin out our D line because we're not that deep on D line. I think our 3 D linemen are good, but the length of the D line gets shortened by a lot. I think this is going to be a hard fought game. My expectation is the Ravens are coming and they saw what the Texans did, and they're going to try to do the same thing. They're going to try to run. They're going to try to impose the run. They try to win that time of possession. The Bengals have struggled against the run lately. And on offense, right, not only establishes the run, that opens the play action, and you might even see Lamar running a little bit more than he has. They know the Bengals are a desperate team. Look, the Ravens, are they desperate? Yes. I think if they lose, they become almost panic mode because the losses, everything that you have said about the Bengals is you now, right? The amount of losses against the AFC, that is you as well. But the Bengals right now are there. Like, you can be there, but the Bengals are there. So the Bengals are coming a little bit more desperate. You cannot allow Joe Burrow to feel comfortable. You cannot. If you're going to let Joe Burrow vibe in the pocket, he's going to torch you up, right? You saw when Watson had a clean pocket, especially in that last drive. Mari Cooper wide open, right? Especially Marlon Humphrey was out at that moment. You see what this team will be. It's not like you had a week to prepare for this game. And the teams know each other. But I think you will see the Ravens put an effort to pressure Joe. Now, you can't go like Wink used to do, blitz out, all-out blitz, because then also Joe Burrow, if he has a nanosecond of somebody being open, he will exploit it, right? So you have to go back to the well. This year, you have been able to pressure. If you're blitzing only one, but you're picking your spot. You're confusing the defense or the offense, and you're bringing the guy an opportunistic moment to get to the quarterback. I think that's key. You have to pressure Joe. Obviously, you have to be clean. No turnovers. Ace talked about it. The turnover margin. Turnover margin is so big, though. Like, turnover margins decide games. But I'm going to assume that that's not going to be. I think the turnover margin is going to be equal. 1-1, 2-2, 0-0, whatever, right? You have to contain Mixon. Because if Mixon gets it going, now play action is in game, and what are you going to do? Are you going to be worried about Mixon just eating the yards and eating the time of possession, right? And then Joe Burrow is going to hit you over the top, right? But if the front seven can hold Mixon to 3 or sub 3 yards per carry, now you don't have. Now if the front seven is doing that, you don't have to bring the safeties because you're worried about the run. You only bring it if you're trying to disguise a blitz, right? Now you can play that too high, bracketing Jamar Chase, right? And I think that is what the game plan will be against Jamar Chase. On offense, Lamar Jackson needs to be clean, no fumbles. The last game, he had 2 turnovers. You can't have turnovers in this game. You cannot put your team in a bad situation. But I think it's going to be a good competitive game. I think defensively, even though the Ravens took some slapping around on defense last week, I still think the Ravens defense is a little bit better than the Bengals defense. I think the Bengals offense and the Ravens offense, when the Bengals are clicking, they are a little bit better than the Ravens offense, right? The thing is, with the Bengals, has been so in and out this year. Are they either clicking or they're completely off, right? So what Bengals offense you're getting? If the Bengals offense comes to one of those days that the offense is not clicking, I think it's a GG. Even if it turn the ball over, because that's what happened in the first game. Then they try at the end to push, but I think it was a little bit too late. If they play a full game, competitive game of the Bengals, not every drive, obviously, but the competitive game as they're moving the ball, normal football game, I think it's going to be a battle, like at every North battle. I have the Ravens 28-24 is what I have this game on a very, very competitive, tough AFC North. Hoping nobody gets injured. Both teams get stated without injuries. But a competitive game, a grind of AFC North 28-24, which is a little bit more score than maybe some people think. But I think on a Thursday night, you will see both teams scoring the ball 28-24 Q.
Yeah. Man, I just really don't. I think it's gonna come down to who's able to run, right? Who's gonna, because both teams have a tendency, despite running the ball well, to just like forget that their running backs exist. Is it going to be the Bengals that we're talking about just forgot Joe Mixon existed, or is it going to be the Ravens who were like, oh yeah, why did they run Keenan Mitchell? Why didn't they run this guy? Why didn't they run that guy? Why didn't they run more Gus Edwards? I think that the Ravens have it's just, this is so close. Like, this is honestly like, you could flip a coin and this game could go either way. I really do think that because like I think about Lamar going up against a secondary with Cincinnati, but Joe Burrow going up against a secondary in Baltimore who, look, the names aren't flashy, but they've played well. Brandon Stevens been putting some good football together this year, and I know Hump isn't going to be there, but Hump wasn't there at the beginning of the season. They were able to hold together pretty well. This is a Ravens team that was able to beat a Joe Burrow who was not Joe Burrow that we remember by 3 in week 2 at home. Well, on the road.
On the road.
Now they play them at home. I don't know. Like, it's hard to count out Joe Burrow in a situation like this, right? Because that's where Joe Burrow's made his money, is in these gotta have it games, right? Like, that's where you have built the myth. Well, not the myth, but the aura of Joe Burrow is in these gotta have it games, right? Playoff situations. Bengals need to win 6 out of their last 7, but that's not to say that Lamar is a scrub in that area too. It's a Thursday night game at home, man, and the Ravens are still a really good team. I'm gonna go with the Ravens here, but let me tell you, man, the line is like less than half a point. Like, for me.
So you have a Ravens minus half a point, essentially.
Yeah, like the wind can be blowing in a different direction, and that could legitimately change who wins this game. It's that close to me.
Okay, Guru.
Yeah, I'm going the Bengals. I think the Ravens defense is the most overrated defense that I've ever seen compiled. The statistics show that it's a good defense. Tonight, you'll understand that you don't have enough. Brandon Stevens, Arthur Millette, Geno Stone. You will be under fire tonight. And the best thing I saw in a loss with the Bengals is Joe Burrow is back. I haven't really seen a team bottle him up like the Texans because of the scheme. You saw, they were rushing with the bull rush. The defense was disciplined. The Ravens ain't going to be able to win the one-on-one matchups tonight. It's just going to be Justin Madubuike. He'll have a sack early, and everybody else would be gassed. The great Roquan Smith, he had a career high of 21 tackles in a loss. I've never seen a guy have an epic performance like that and lose because he's not impacting their plays. I like the Bengals tonight without T. Higgins to still put 27 points up. And I like Lamar Jackson to do what he did last week. Hero ball, and it's gonna force him to score 7 points tonight. And I think hopefully the Ravens are going to bye week and understand you're not who you say you are. 2 straight losses in the division, come back in the bye week, and I think when they come back, so it'll be a new guy, top left in the corner, first place in the AFC North. But the Bengals, the key tonight is Trey Hendrickson playing because Sam Hubbard's not playing, and I think with Hendrickson playing and Ronnie Stanley out, advantage Cincinnati Bengals.
By the way, we're not on a bye next week. Just a FYI, we do have a game next week, Sunday night. The following week are on a bye.
I got you.
Okay,
I got you.
We have a couple of super chats here.
Now, Ace, I am going to say this. If Lamar does at any point need to go to the bathroom tonight, it might be over for y'all. If he has,
it was a Thursday night, right?
That was a Monday night game. But if it ain't Sunday, that man got to use the bathroom. It's a problem.
You're not worried about that, man. You're not worried about that.
That Pookie Scoop will find Zay.
Guru, do you want to say what we put over there, or you don't? From your boy, do you want to say what he said, or you don't want to say it?
Yeah, he's a fan of AFC North talk.
You're muted, by the way. Go ahead.
No, you're not.
I was trying to pinpoint it, but it wouldn't let me. But yeah, shout out Inshallah. He said 6-time champ lounge, tell Q Tomlin is 25-5 versus rookie quarterbacks.
Okay.
And 5. Yes. I don't think he's going to lose most games, but I don't think he's also playing one of the best defenses in the NFL every time that he's played a rookie quarterback. Again, I got a lot of respect for Mike Tomlin. I don't ever predict the Steelers to go under 9 wins because of my respect for Mike Tomlin. But those 5 games do happen where he does lose to a rookie quarterback. It's not like it's never happened before. And I bet they're under special circumstances.
Dude, let me say something. I remember a game that because Harbaugh has similar record.
You want to pull up the split of my bad? Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say we had John Harbaugh has similar record against rookie QB, and then we lose to Mitchell Trubisky. That was nasty.
Yeah. So another really good defense that year, though, right? That was the year the Bears went to the playoffs. So I mean, defense gives you a lot of leeway when it comes to quarterback play. Steelers know this, the Browns know this. So yeah, all those rookie quarterback stats, it's important to know. But also it's like, hey man, when your defense gives you this much margin of error, that just makes that stat less important. This is as important as what the splits at home versus the Steelers have been with the Browns, where I think the Browns have lost maybe 1 game at home since Kevin Stefanski's been the coach to the Pittsburgh Steelers. So, I mean, the splits can go both ways, but it's about the football teams that are playing this week, not what's happened in the past. And I think that this week, you look at the matchups, I stand on what I think.
Okay, commonly here says emphasis short routes and getting the ball out quickly is a simple way to eliminate Waddle. Highsmith.
He said Highsmith is better.
Okay. Highsmith's good.
I would say the matchup he has is more favorable, right? Like Garyon Christian on Highsmith. If DeJuan Jones is back, even though it's TJ Watt, like I don't think that he's going to completely shut down TJ Watt. Like, don't mistake me for saying that. But I do think that it's not going to become an outright disaster at that side of the line.
It's not like you have Fahalele.
I did forget about that. That is 2.
But
both of the tackles are out. Is Wyatt Teller playing tackle?
To be fair, last time they played, I don't think Jed Wills was much better than Garyon Christian. Right? Like,
so one tackle's out, and because one tackle's out for the year.
Was Wyatt Teller playing right tackle? Did I see that correctly last week? Was he playing right tackle?
No, it was James Hudson.
Okay, it was Hudson. Gotcha.
But yeah, right tackle. Why you gonna change picks, Ace? Are you gonna lock it down?
No. I don't know, man. Guru gonna be. I don't know.
Okay, so Havisho here says, not the first time my DL line got smacked around in the North. That still won't change Watson playing style. One day that Super Bowl window will open. And then we have Victor says controlling momentum will be key. 31-17. Big win for the Bengals. And then Max here says safe flower, Pookie scoop for the win.
Hey man, keep that man well fed. Like,
that game was crazy. When he left and then he comes in the fourth down, like talk about things that
not just he leaves, like Baker Mayfield puts together a legitimately impressive drive to take the lead in the fourth quarter, third that Pookie, and then he just came back and did that shit on you.
On a fourth down.
I hate Lamar Jackson, dog.
Okay, that being said, guys, thank you all for coming. Great stream. Shout out to all the guys here. Make sure you like, if you haven't subscribed, and put your comments. We want to see the game prediction. The game starts in about an hour for the Ravens Bengals, and then Sunday. So there's no excuse. You should see both games. All of y'all should see both games. Thank you all for watching, and we will see you next time. Peace out.